All right, good morning, ladies and gents. Welcome to Frostbites GRJ Repro. This video is one of the series that I do for the Toys R Oz Facebook toy group, for which Bevan Davey is the illustrious leader of. So today we're chatting with Mike, YouTube extraordinaire. I pale in comparison with my 130 subscribers, and Mike's sitting there with 20K. So yeah, it's really good to chat with you today, Mike. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
It's totally an honor, mate. So the reason that I've sort of contacted Mike and wanted to chat with him is he runs a fantastic YouTube account on detailing news and new things for modern toys, particularly Star Wars that I've seen. And I found it to be a really great source of new information. How long have you been doing that for, Mike?
The channel's been going since about late 2015, but I started taking it seriously in about mid 2017.
Okay. And was it like the videos of yours that I've watched, you seem very natural on the camera, and you seem like
a lot of practice. And
I noticed before you've got 1,000 videos.
Yeah, I always learnt early on. Someone said, "Who's the people who do the videos that help YouTubers? The first 100 videos you make, that is practice."
Yeah, right.
And then from there, you just explode. Apparently,
I'm still on. I'm going slowly. I'm still on 74 videos.
Ooh, you're nearly a pro.
nearly getting there. How did you feel like in those first 100 or so? How did you feel like? I've sort of had the feelings of, why am I doing this? Not a lot of people watch. Like, how did you feel?
How did I feel? I think, I guess I wanted to make a community because early on I was doing a lot of Hot Wheels content. So I wanted to just make more Hot Wheels fans watch. And so it was like, and now I've completely dropped Hot Wheels, but I was just like, I want to show you what I've got. Oh, this is exciting. This is exciting to me. If I've got like a fancy car, a rare car or something like that, just to show off the toy and get, people excited. I was just like flexing, I guess. I was just like, look at this. Yeah. That's more of what I was into, just building that little community up. And then after a while, I just thought I'll try and make it like you're watching a television show. Like that, I want to have an intro. I want to be big presence on screen. I want to show off all the fancy stuff and a nice big outro. Put in a few little jokes in there, meme content, all that sort of thing. And that's kind of what I was trying to achieve. And I'm doing that on the regular now. Yeah. Whether it be like an unboxing, I'm showing off. I'm doing Indiana Jones toys as well, G.I. Joe stuff, Star Wars stuff. It's just like, if there's no news, just concentrate on some of the stuff like a review or an unboxing. Yeah, it's always fun.
You're, not blowing smoke up your ass or anything, but you are very natural when you present your videos.
I try to.
There's, I was saying to my co-host the other day, Adam, I don't get a lot of time to watch people's videos. And there's some people I watch to support, and there's some people I watch because I'm actually interested. Your videos fall into that category because they're nice and short and sharp. They're telling me everything I need to know, and then I can move on with life, Was that sort of a content guide that you used early on, or have you learned as you went?
I think the content guide I tried to go with was don't be boring. Don't be boring, Michael. Just get on there, Michael. Don't be boring. Yeah. It's just, people want to be able to watch it and be like, oh, this guy's funny, or this guy's, whether you like me or take me with a grain of salt. It's like I just wanted to be more entertaining and as I present. Yeah. I didn't want to be like low energy. I didn't want that. Hey guys, hey. I wanted to show everybody, hey, good to see you again. Yeah.
No, that's excellent, man. So getting back into the toy side of things, where did you grow up? Because the reason I asked that is we all have to buy toys from shops.
Yes.
And depending on where you grew up, usually affects your availability of toys. So where are you from?
I'm from God's country, Queensland.
Nice.
But I don't live in Queensland anymore. I've lived most of my life in northern New South Wales.
Okay. And,
here
and
it's
where
not,
in Queensland?
Here just from southeast Queensland, Brisbane.
Okay.
As a kid, always getting like there was good toy shops back then. Big toy world was always the go. I don't remember too many of this Toys R Us that came later. I know that the Americans have had Toys R Us for quite a long time, like going back to the 70s. But Australia, we had it like in the mid 90s, because before that was World for Kids. You remember that shop, World for Kids?
I don't think so.
Very briefly had one in Queensland called World for Kids, and they got rebranded into Toys R Us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a
Toy World was the go. Toy World.
I'm a Bundaberg and Mackay boy, so.
There you go. You
So
live way down south. What did you?
Sorry.
You live way down south now.
Down south. Due to a military lifestyle for a couple of decades, I moved around, and Canberra's where I am now. So, yeah.
Excellent.
And what's your rough age right now? You'd be in your 40s. Yeah.
I always get like early 30s, and I'm like, I'll take it. Yeah, mid 40s.
No, it doesn't matter how young someone looks. You can usually tell by the toys that they're into how old they are.
He's like, why has he got all these old Kenner toys from the 80s?
What is he doing with those?
What is he doing with all that stuff?
I actually remember going down to Brisbane for Expo 88.
I was there, yeah.
As a kid, yeah.
We probably crossed paths. Yeah. I was there. The day I went, it was stifling hot. It was absolutely stifling hot. My brother got an ice cream, and literally just wore it down his arm. Just literally wore it down his arm. It melted.
So, like that trip to Expo 88 was quite special for me. I went down with my mother, and after going to the expo, we went into town, into Brisbane, and she bought me a Shockwave, the V1 Shockwave. So that trip, very special for me.
Kicked it off.
Yeah.
My toys were cars to start with. I had a lot of not Matchbox. Hot Wheels was my brand. Hot Wheels cars. I had thousands of them. Like as a kid, it's an easy purchase because it's like it's a $2 car. Back then it was $1. And if you got some brothers, and then you'd be like, mum or dad's like, one for you, one for you, one for you. It's easy to deal with. There's $3 right there. 3 kids are taken care of. $1 cars. And then throughout the years, like if you didn't get a car as a gift for a birthday or Christmas off an auntie or a grandparent, it was always an action figure. So they slowly slipped in there. They started going, I remember your very first one was Han Solo from it was on Jedi card back. Would have been about 1984, which would have been made the year before 83 or something. And I remember holding it. As a kid, you're holding these card backs. You ever seen a vintage card back about 6x9? Yeah, as a kid, I kind of remember it felt like huge because, little hands, little guy. And as to this day, they're like tiny. Yeah, it just felt really big. And I remember staring there, looking at it. And my mother goes, open it or what? Now I'm an inbox collector.
No, that's okay. And with the Hot Wheels stuff, were you collecting or getting, like the garage sets or the big dinosaur things?
Nope, just the cars. The reason being that it didn't grow up with a lot of money, so play sets were with a no. The only play set I remember actually owning was Castle Grayskull, and that was only because I guess it was available and Christmas was around, and here's a big play set. And then I started getting a little bit of Motu. That was it. Yeah. But I sold that Castle Grayskull in 1990 at a garage sale for $25. I felt like a millionaire. I felt like a millionaire. It's like when you do that as a kid, it's like $25. Someone paid me $25 for Castle Grayskull. I reckon it was probably a little bit more than that. And my mum was probably like, "Oh, look at him! Just I had it 5 years maybe."
Yeah. Oh man. And the Hot Wheels stuff. Have you still got your original Hot Wheels, or did you get rid of those?
I have. Oh, well, I started collecting them in the 80s, like loose ones, and I only have a very tiny collection of those where I might have had maybe 50 cars. I think I've got about 7 or 8 cars. They're in a box somewhere. But once I rekindled my passion for Hot Wheels in 1999, the year before I went overseas, I started collecting in box only. So all the Hot Wheels are still on card. And I got up to 5,500. There's a lot. There was a lot. I've whittled it down. About half of that now. I've got less than 2,000 of them, but
that's unreal.
It's just too many. Yeah.
And do you do many of your YouTube videos on Hot Wheels stuff?
Not anymore. No.
Yeah.
Well, I was doing a lot, and then I got to 2018, and I had an epiphany. There's too many repaints. There's just too many repaints. Every year, you're buying the same car, sometimes 5 times over, the same car with different coat of paint. And then you think, I've bought all these. There's 365 cars in the set for the year. I bought 5 of this certain car that I hate. It's ugly. It's got to be there because it's part of the set. The next year rolls around, the same car, same thing, different coat of paint, different. And you'll end up buying 30 or 40 of the same car over and over again. The Hot Wheels just repaint. And I was just like, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of this. Yes, they can put some new ones in there, but it's few and far between. When they're putting the licensed cars in, it's very few and far between because they're going to pay money to Toyota or whatever. But their fantasy cars, they don't have to pay a license to. And an ugly car will get repainted more times than your licensed car. So if you want to be a Hot Wheels collector, don't go and buy the whole set. Just buy what you like.
I think I'll stay out of that. These are the only 2 cars that I have sitting here. So a cool little DeLorean.
The DeLorean. It's in hover mode.
And this guy, this is actually one I chased down because I remember having this as a kid for some reason. And I remember just loving it. It's part of my memory. And so recently, probably start of this year, I went to a toy fair in Penrith and I asked every seller. Nobody had it. I come back, found it on eBay and got it imported from England.
The Lotus Esprit 007. Ooh, that's beautiful.
Little corgi one.
That is lovely. That's very nice. I couldn't tell you the value, but you get $50.
It cost me, I think, $15 to buy and about $15 postage from England.
Not many in this country.
I was just happy. That's all I wanted. It was just that, and I got it.
Very nice. That's a good car. Very good car. So you're buying stuff that's screen represented. That's good because people can relate to it. Casual fans look at it and go, I know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just, that's why I don't mind having those 2 because they are cool movie type cars.
Iconic cars, yeah. They're literally a character from a movie. Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about the shops in Brisbane, what was the Brisbane scene like back when you were a kid?
Mostly if it was a Toy World, that was all I ever went to. And if you got it from Big W, which is, Aussie's version of Walmart, if something's there, something's there. Yeah, usually Toy World was the go-to. But now Toy Worlds, they're not as good as they used to be. I find like they don't get all the lines, and when they do, they get old stuff, like junky stuff that's been sitting in warehouses for a long time, and then they started bringing in. You're like, even action figures today, I can go into a Toy World and find some of the early 2015 Star Wars stuff from the first movie they brought out. And I'm like, why is this still here all these years later?
Yeah.
It's supposed to sell new.
Yeah. It's become really difficult. I found toy shops in Australia. They're not really toy shops anymore. No. They're just peg warmer places.
Peg warmer paradise. Yeah.
It's in Canberra. It's a bit dead. We have 2 Toy Worlds and 1 Toy Mate. And I didn't even know, like someone said in one of the groups, Toy Mate sucks because they just buy old toys and resell them. That's where old toys go to die. I'm like, oh, mate, in Canberra, that's they're getting toys we haven't seen before. So yeah, it's great.
The one on the Gold Coast, which is about an hour away from me, their Toy Mate there, they started buying just the leftovers from Toys R Us, just all that stuff that they stuck into warehouses. But now they're starting to get new stuff that you see, like there's a lot of AEW wrestling figures. There's Motu in there. I'm like, oh, this is surprising. I've never seen some of this before. Stuff that you don't see in department stores that you should see in department stores.
And so obviously you're a big Star Wars collector, and we've fleshed out something already with the Hot Wheels. That's great. So it's great to getting to know you. You mentioned Motu. So with your Castle Grayskull,
yes.
What was your Motu childhood like?
Motu was the basics: He-Man, Battle Cat, Skeletor, Panther, and I had the Roton. The Roton is that what it's called? Yeah. I had that and Skeletor inside. So I had 2 Skeletors. I don't remember a whole lot of others. I think Man at Arms, my brother had that. I didn't have anything other than the basics, the ones that we see straight away, like what we see now. And that was pretty much it. I sort of, it seems weird to say I put Leonard Corpse in my Castle Grayskull, but
wow.
Yeah. It wasn't a huge collection of I want to get a Panther one of these days, or the Origins one. That'd be nice because I got the Skeletor.
Yeah.
Well,
listing those figures, that sounds like a pretty good childhood for Motu.
The one where they got the chest where you bash it and it changes to broken and smashed up. Yeah.
Battle armor.
And Skeletor. That's it, battle armor.
Yeah.
That's it. So much I know about Motu.
No, that's all right. I've managed to achieve through a couple of sellers. Like I don't mind buying beta stuff. I don't need stuff complete. And so I've managed to achieve a nice little collection of Motu and I'm happy with what I've got now. Excellent. It's reaching back to my childhood. So and so Motu, Hot Wheels. You mentioned Leonard the Core.
Yeah.
How much of that did you have?
I had more of that than G.I. Joe. Now, I've said in a previous video, I've only ever had as a kid 4 G.I. Joe figures.
Okay. Which were?
Recondo, Muskrat, Quick Kick, and I don't know if I don't know if it was Falcon or Flint. I just cannot to this day remember what it was.
They looked the same roughly anyway.
Yeah, they had that nice beret. And my next door neighbor as a kid, he had a lot of G.I. Joe. And my mum's like, oh, well, he wants to play with the kid next door. And just to subsidize it, I got those 3-pack of Leonard Corpse. I used to call them Corpse. It's still in here because as a kid, you read it as Corpse. And I know as an adult, it's Core. So Boomerang Billy, Whispering Willie, Tony Tanner, Fox. This whole lineup of like great characters. I've got one these days, Avalanche, which I bought in a job lot when I was buying some vintage Joes. There was Avalanche was in there, and I'm like, I didn't even have him as a kid.
Well, you'll get to have a good chat with Aaron about this. Aaron is the Leonard the Core guy.
Oh, excellent.
So when we pull you in for Tuesday night, like he'll love this.
He'll whip out like John Eagle and all these characters. I remember you.
He's at the point. He's got them all, and he's at the variant stages.
Oh,
yeah. So he'll love having you on to chat about that.
Excellent. Yeah, more of them than Joe's. It's weird. And now for me, this is where classic stuff. Love it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's a good book, everybody. Get that book.
And so are you starting to purchase back a whole bunch of Joes?
Yes.
Like the vintage Joes?
Things I never had that I wanted as a kid. Just because I've collect classifieds as well. As soon as classifieds come out, I was like, oh, Destro, oh, Scarlet, oh, Duke. And the names are there again. Like I watched the cartoon and I started to collect as you know, in this country, the classifieds were very easy to get at the beginning, got to the movie stuff, and then it just died. It's like, where is it on shelves? Why isn't it at retail anymore? It's terrible. It's very hard to collect them. But what also turned me off classifieds, they went from the window box to the cardboard box, and I was like, it totally took me out. It's same with Star Wars. As soon as they went to that box, the Black Series, I'm like, you can have that. I don't want a cardboard box. I'm an in-box collector. I wanted to display it with the window showing the figure because I see the packaging and the figure, all as the presentation together. I'm not going to sit there and pose them all out and all that. I like to leave them in the box, pull them out like a book, have a look, put them back. That's just me.
Well, it's probably a good thing that like Hasbro with their G.I. Joe stuff or Star Wars stuff didn't do what they did with their Transformers stuff. And they went to that, still got the window, but no protective plastic.
Yeah, you stick your fingers in there. And,
yeah, and it was like,
people touch my stuff.
And kids have snapped off their heads, and you're like, oh, God.
Yeah. Some little kid with his nose picking hands touching your figure. Oh no, thanks.
So what you've said about, your parents buying you toys and stuff, they seem pretty nice to me, just for the quick impression that I'm getting.
Yeah.
What was, you mentioned like the Hot Wheels, and then you went on to Motu stuff. How often were you getting toys in your childhood?
Oh, I'd say once every fortnight, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't overly. I wasn't like spoiled rotten or anything. I wasn't from a well-off family where I hear all these in the toy groups. They'll have conversations. I had that, and I'm like, you had all these play sets. I had literally one from Motu. Yeah, it's like I didn't get. I got stuff, but as you know, as you grow up, you can tell you're not as well off as other kids. You go to your mate's house and he's got an absolute mountain of like Star Wars toys and a full Ewok Village play set and all these vehicles. And I'm like, what is this? How do you get so much? I mean, yes, he was an only child. But it wasn't that kind of setup at my house. Yeah,
I remember as a child, like I'd go over to a mate's place and, he had a crap load of Transformers, like, and all the good ones, Perceptors and the Seeker Jets and all this stuff. And
never see.
Like, wow. I think I had a Beachcomber or something. And it's very, I find it very interesting as an adult talking to people about their childhoods and seeing what they've grown up into with their toy collections.
And I guess we were all envious as kids, and now as an adult, I try and buy that stuff that I always wanted. I always saw it and like, oh, this is cool. And someone will show something that I haven't seen before, and it's like, oh, there's packaging. I remember that on the shelf.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, we got a guest.
And what other toy lines were you collecting? Were you into the Ninja Turtles or the Transformers?
Nope. Micro Machines was the other one.
Oh, yeah. Nice one.
Now, I was just saying, oh, there's places. There was one particular series of Micro Machines I was very hardcore into. I think I have the whole series of them, called the Travel Cities. A little tiny base plate. You get a little house on there. You get a little car with it. Each of those was expensive as a kid. They were $13.95 a set. They were expensive.
That is pretty big. Yeah,
and they're like bugger all. They're tiny. They're the size of a sandwich. If you've ever seen them before.
Yeah,
the old Micro Machine Travel City. So I try to get all of them. And just as I'm collecting this whole little set, I think it might have been like 15 or so. Then they brought out this second wave, and like, oh no, there's more to collect. So I think I don't know if I'm missing one or two from the entire run that they ever did. And some of the cartons I've still got the boxes they're in. From way back in 88. Have 89.
You seen the recent little releases that they've pulled out?
Yeah, from Jazzwares. Yeah, I have a few of them. I've let some go. I bought some and I'm like, do I want to get deep into this line? Look at that. That's so cool. Look at that little world. Yeah, I know.
It's like a little building, little stoplights and stuff. And what cracked me up, like I got a little taco van. But it's got a little window that you can pull up to serve your customers.
How about
that? And these things they're $20 usually. They're down, if you go to Toy Mate, they're $8.
Bargain. Absolute bargain.
So
that's kind of like a Travel City, isn't it? That's a new age version of it. Yeah.
It's at $8, like as I've said in my little videos reviewing them, like I quite like them. I do quite like Micro Machines. They're such a good product of the 90s. And all right, so we've hit all those. Now, Star Wars, the big boy. So Han Solo was the first character you got?
Oh, yeah. The big head Han, by the way, for all those variant collectors out there. There's a small head Han, a big head Han.
Yep.
The big head.
That's what I always
like the big head. It's the best one.
It's certainly unique with that head.
I just wish back in the day I had collected the Power of the Force stuff. That's the rare stuff today. It's like that. I'm missing 16 figures from the run of the 96. There's 16 figures I don't have.
Of the 96 stuff.
They made 96 characters in Kenner. And right down the end, the Power of the Force stuff, that's the only stuff I don't have. That's called the last 17. Yeah. I have one of them.
Yeah. Who you got?
Me? It's Luke Skywalker in poncho.
Oh, yeah, nice. I've got that's all I'm left with now, too, is the last 17.
That's the hard stuff to get. Yeah.
So I've got the Dignitary. I picked up Han and Carbonite in Penrith.
Oh, nice one.
So that was nice.
Nice one.
I've got Paplu.
A harder Ewok to get.
And I've got Obi-Wan.
Very good.
Yeah. I'm on and I've got the Imperial Gunner as well. And the
his weapons worth more than he is.
So interestingly, so in my spare time, I do that kind of thing.
Oh, you got a beautiful little gun there. Look at it.
Yeah, I know Star Wars collectors are a lot different to most other collectors, and they're really not a fan of Repro. No. But they're my creations, and because I bought a whole bunch of vintage stuff from a local auction about a year ago, and it everything in it was old.
Well,
so I'm pretty I feel certain it's all original. And in that lot was a Leia, an Endor Leia, and she's got that weapon, but just a different color. Oh. So yeah, I used that weapon, made my own, and that's what I put in my collection.
Very nice.
So, and so you went from were you doing all this concurrently? Were you doing different toy lines as a kid? So were you collecting the Hot Wheels plus the Lanard plus Motu plus Star Wars, or was it
if phases? Because you'd start getting into the action figures, you'd let the cars go for a little bit, and then you get the Motu stuff come around, and it's like I've got Lanard Corps, so I'm going to integrate them together. I'll stop with the Motu because my Motu collection is very humble, very humble. One big playset and a few characters. And then the Micro Machines come along, and then I didn't need to collect the Hot Wheels cars because you're collecting cars in Micro Machines anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
And then once that sort of like phased out, well, kind of Galoob kind of stopped making stuff in a way. Galoob was the people who made the Micro Machines. Once they started to get onto the weird stuff and people started to go, oh, no, I don't want to collect that anymore. Then I got sort of drip fed back into Star Wars because you're talking about the 90s and those ugly bloody Power of the Force 2 stuff. Oh, the steroids figures. Yeah. I wanted to collect them, but I didn't want to collect them. And I remember even there's Shadow of the Empire. My mate's in the shop with me. He's like, look at this. And I'm like, I don't even know these characters. Seriously, I don't read the bloody book. So who's Prince Zizor? I didn't want to collect that sort of stuff. Yeah. And at the end of the 90s, that's when I'm like hardcore into I'm going to collect every single car of Hot Wheels every year from 99 right up to like 2018. Right. And I'm like, that's it. Yeah.
Wow.
Try to get rare ones, super treasure hunts, every subset, every mainline set. Yeah. So I had boxes and boxes and boxes. And when they're $2 each, it's doable.
Can you tell me a bit about the super treasure hunt thing for the Hot Wheels?
Okay. In 1995, they brought out something called a treasure hunt, just a regular treasure hunt. and it was usually 1 in every 3 cases. And it's like, oh yeah, a case is 72 cars. You go into your supermarkets or your shops, and you see the case up top, and they cut it open to put them on the pegs. There was usually 1 in every 3 was a super treasure, and they sell good money. They'll sell between $30 and $50 in this country.
Yeah.
Then they decided later on they're going to do a super treasure hunt. So this has got rubber wheels, and the paint job on it is going to be like electroplate, like it's like sparkly. That's what they originally started off. And the regular treasure hunt was 1 per case for the regular treasure hunt, so you could find them much easier. So that brought them from the $20 price range or $30 price range down to about $10. They sort of dipped in value, regular treasure hunts. And the super treasure hunts, they were 1 in 14 cases. So it went right up. The value of those is between $100 and $150 now. So they were very desirable. I think they still are. To find a super treasure hunt, that's what you're really, really looking for. Yeah.
And how do you know, like just looking at the car, is it just those you're looking like you can feel the rubber wheels as opposed to plastic?
Usually the Hot Wheels fellas, they cheat. They get online and they have a look on forums and see which ones, and they go, oh, I'm looking for car 75. So when they go there, they're like, go through numbers, 75, boom, there it is, I've got it. And you behind the car is a little flaming circle logo. If it's silver, you've got a regular treasure hunt. If it's a gold circle logo, you have a super treasure hunt.
Right.
I hope that clears everything up.
You literally have to go to the pegs and do that.
And physically look for them. And sometimes you'll be like, they've put out 3 fresh cases right here. I'm going to go through every single car. I'm the first person here. And not one of them will be what you're looking for. You won't find the treasure hunt. There's times where you'll rummage through hundreds of cars and there's no special ones in there. That's why I said just buy each one. If you find a DeLorean and go, yeah, I got a DeLorean, there you go.
Because a couple of months ago, I was in Big W and I walked past an employee cracking a box of Hot Wheels.
And you started.
No, there was 2 adult dudes standing next to her,
breathing down his neck.
Yeah, just, and it was like some young female just trying to put toys out, and there's 2 creepers standing behind her, like watching all the toys as she's bringing them out. I'm like,
trying to make some profit.
Oh God, that's really awkward.
Yeah. So if you're one of them cases that had the super treasure hunt, you just bought a $2 car and you've got $100 right there.
Yeah, right.
It's not the greatest big thrill in the world, but to have one is like a big deal. I've had them in the past. I've sold through a lot of them. I've kept one, the BMW. I should have brought it. It's not too far over there. I just get out.
Are those things traditionally items that collectors will keep, or they'll find on the shelf and just go sell it?
Bit of both. Yeah. It's a chase. It's just a chase, and people just like you find this rare car for $100. What does it do? You sell it. You can buy some more cars.
Yeah. Okay.
But other people, that if it's like the one I've kept is the BMW. I love that car. I think I sold a couple of fantasy cars that aren't, but to have a licensed one, a BMW, to me, I owned a BMW. I owned 3 of them once upon a time. So that's my car. That's my brand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's sounding all right already. Just going from a few Motu as a kid to three BMWs. Doing all right.
An 83 model. That's an 83 model 520. Yeah. They're a loud, clunky thing, but they look beautiful.
And so I noticed too with your videos that you have done a few on the new Indiana Jones toys that are coming out. Was that something you collected as a kid as well?
No, that's something we've talked about. Me and a couple other guys privately. It's like we don't even remember seeing Indiana Jones Kenner figures on the shelf here in Australia. Some people said yes. Others are like, no, I never saw those yellow card backs ever in this country on the shelves. Whether they're in very small distribution, I'd never, growing up as a kid, Brisbane or anywhere, I'd never see them on the pegs. So as soon as they said we're going to remake them again in the old traditional style and not that 2008, sort of style, I had to get all those, every one of them. I got the whole 10 of them. I wish I did more than 10, but I've got the whole 10 of them. And then the Adventure series, which is the 6-inch line, I'm just like enjoying those because it's like, oh, I got one, I got two, I got the whole wave of the first wave, and I sort of like love them. I thought these are great because I got some good ones, except for Indiana Jones's original figure, the first one. The face on mine's horrendous. They, you know, when they painted the beard up around here, like
oh god.
I just want it here. It's got to look like a 5-day growth, a bit of stubble.
Yeah,
and they painted it right up under his eyes. That's horrendous. So it's the only bad one I got. The rest I'm really enjoying. I like the ones I got. The ones in most of them are suits. Most of them are suits. If all he's wondering, they're fine for what they are. So I know there's only 25 figures, but it's actually 24 figures in 1 2-pack. So I'll fill out the whole line. That's all they're going to make for now. Yeah. And then they'll rest the line, which is cancel the line.
Yeah. Bolted.
And hope they come back to it one day. Yeah. Well, they did Ghostbusters Plasma series. They brought out, fair few figures and then just halted the line. So they're sort of, don't know what's going on there.
Was that recent Ghostbusters one?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So you had the original characters, and then you had the original characters as old, and then you had all the new characters that were in there as well. Podcast and the girl.
That's another thing that Toymate likes to stock is that older Ghostbusters stuff.
The Plasma series, they call it.
The real, like not the cartoony stuff, but the movie type stuff. Yeah.
So you got Venkman and Stantz and all those characters, new. Old characters, like when they were younger, and when they're now really old, like they were in Afterlife. They put them both in there. Yeah. It's a good line, but I didn't get into it too much.
No. Well, even like they're still going for $35 or something each at Toymate.
It should be on clearance.
So
it should be on clearance.
Well, that's every time I usually go into my local Toymate like once a week or once a fortnight, and I just always walk past them. It's like, oh, are they on clearance this week? No, maybe next week.
And you get them down to $7.95 and you're all over them.
Oh, mate. I think $15 I'd be all over them, I reckon.
It's a decent line.
So with the indie, mate, like what kind of collector are you? Are you crafty? Like if I was to get that indie and he had his beard up to here or something, I think the first thing I'd be inclined to do is mix some paint up and try and make it a bit more normal.
That takes talent. I haven't got that kind of
no,
painting figures I don't do. I feel like I'd botch it too much. I don't have the skill or the artisan eye to be able to do it properly. I'd want someone else to do it for me. I'll send this head away to someone who knows what they're doing, sort of thing. So you guys who create masterful works of painting, guys got a brown jacket, we painted it red or something like that. You can interpret colors and that. I'm just so envious of how good you do it. That's like I'd love to be able to do it, but no, that's not me. I can't do that. I save my creative work for my videos.
How do you feel about customs and stuff like that are painted and do you buy customs?
Would I? Yeah, if there's something that I know I could never ever get, I'd be all over it. Like I have a Stan Solo Jawa with Vinyl Cape Jawa. I'd never be able to afford, drop $2,000 on a Jawa. So this is Stan Solo one. Bling. Brilliant. Yeah. So that sort of stuff, yes.
Well, that's
a character I wouldn't have. Probably get one.
The green female from I think Return of the Jedi with the Ahsoka type things. Yeah, Stan Solo just released one of those, didn't he?
Yes. Played by Femi Taylor, lovely lady.
Okay.
I'd like that because her original character, her figurine came out in like 97, 96, somewhere around there, and it's not good. But this new one, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I remember watching a video or someone talking about it, and they were talking in particular about how well it was done by Stan Solo. And they were just saying, like they've molded or they created the mold especially just for this. And the painting on it was fantastic.
Yeah. Disney won't tell Hasbro to do it because it's too good looking. Sexy. Yeah. So they're just like, You can't do risque. That's what I look for. Won't do the slave layer for the same reasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Hasbro, I think would do it. Hasbro would punch out figures all day long. That's money in the bank. But they're overlords who pull the strings and sign the agreements and all that. They're the ones who say, no, we're going to keep our brand clean. You know, even though most of the stuff is garbage.
So how does Stan Solo get
work
away
around
with
it?
stuff? Yeah.
Oh, because he's independent contractor, I suppose. He can do it all himself. He doesn't have to get approvals or anything from anyone. Yeah.
Okay.
He probably would, but I don't see him going to Femi Taylor and going, oh, you know, you were in Star Wars. Can we do your action figure? What would she get out of it? She'd have to agree. There's some.
He doesn't own the rights.
Yeah. He just maybe because it doesn't a limited run. I don't know. Maybe because he's not mass producing millions and millions of them.
Yeah.
He's only doing it in a short run. I don't know how he does it. I've never looked into it.
Maybe Disney just turned the blind eye, right? Not worth it.
Possibly. Not worth it.
Yeah, that slave Leia, because I've got the Jabba the Hutt sitting in my cabinet, and I've got your Gammy Guard, and I've got a Bib Fortune. I've got all the guys standing around him, and I'm like, oh man, I need a Leia. And so I ended up just buying, like, the whole cabinet is vintage. And I ended up just buying that Power of the Force 2 slave Leia with the chain and everything. And then that sits in next to Jabba. That's the best I can do.
Do you know back in the Kenner days they were going to release a slave Leia? There's an unproduced sample. There's an unproduced sample of slave Leia. It was put in a museum. Yeah.
Right.
Old school, really old school Kenner one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
decent. On the net?
Yeah. Oh, the museum that it was put in, some people I know went to that museum, took photos of it. So that's how I saw it. I was like, there it is, unproduced slave Leia.
Is that some type of toy museum or like an American museum?
Maidstone Museum. It's in England. Yeah.
Oh, right. Fascinating.
It might have had something to do with Pally Toy, the actual toy company over there. We're going to produce it. Yeah.
And so, I've watched a fair few of your videos reviewing new content. How do you feel about the new Star Wars stuff in relation to the vintage Kenner?
The new stuff is engineered really well and beautiful, but I don't like the new show Ahsoka. I watched it. Everyone watched it. I was like, it's okay, but nothing grabs me in that like I have to have these characters in action figure form. Whereas when we watch OT stuff, and you're like, oh, look at this Biker Scout, I gotta have that. There's a different connection to it. There's like, it's very strange like that. It's like they're doing some of the best work now, like in engineering wise and all that sort of like the sculpts and all that beautiful, but their characters I don't want. It's like, yes, they'll drip feed in the OT characters now and again, and some of them are brilliant. I got the Rebel Commander, and I think what a great figure, that 6-inch figure. What a fantastic figure. But the new stuff, I appreciate that they're making it, but I don't really want it. If you want it, go buy it, everybody. Yes.
Yeah. So, like, because your videos, do you go out and like most of the videos I've seen you do, it's been of stuff that's been announced by Hasbro or something like that. Do you do a lot of videos where you'll get a toy and you'll review it?
Not a great deal, no.
Okay.
It started out, yes. I would tell people about this is coming from Hasbro. Look at this new item, and talk about it in news in a news way. And then I went out and got the figure and showed them. Look at this! I finally got it. I love it. Appreciate it. It's awesome. I've got to the point where I'm doing news videos to say this is coming soon. This is coming soon. These are the reveals. This is coming, and I personally don't want it, but I tell people about it because that's part of what I do. I don't pick that up really. Yeah. But what I'm really passionate about is more vintage now. I love the vintage stuff. Even vintage Joes. I'm buying vintage Joes.
Yeah, that's great, mate.
Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Some of those are bloody good stuff.
I've sort of found myself in a weird spot because my whole thing is GI Joe, and I do love my GI Joes.
But you're buying Star Wars, aren't you? You're buying vintage
Well,
Star Wars.
yeah, that's this weird thing, right? So I bought a crap load of Joes, and then I started my YouTube stuff, and I sort of finished buying all of my Joes.
Oh, you done.
And then went on. Well, I'm not done. I just don't have a lot I can buy anymore because I have a lot of it.
You filled the book out. You got everyone in the book. You got every single one.
I'm doing all right. And then with the YouTube stuff, I'm sort of.
It's just so good.
Sort of, it's at a time in my life where I'm like, oh yeah, the Star Wars stuff. Let's start buying that. So it's been quite weird.
It's all right. It comes around full circle. It's how we collect as collectors. The phases you were talking about before. You just come in and out of something. Yeah.
Yeah. I've started buying, which as you were talking about before, like I've started buying a few mocks whenever I can get them.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I just wish they'd fit into the protectors, the protector cases. I've noticed that I'm trying to stick a couple of my mocks and they don't fit it in there. So, sensor scope. That's beautiful. Didn't you put that on Instagram? I'm sure I like that picture. Look at that, everybody. Unpunched. Original price sticker on it. Beautiful.
So yeah, whenever I can pick up stuff for a reasonable price, I'll just grab it. It's that's been my sort of evolution into toys now. It's just getting the mocks.
He's got the pointy stick with him. You got that little white pointy stick in there. Excellent. There it is. That's it. $20 right there.
Why not? Why not $20?
$20 for just that little pointy stick.
And then, finding just odd shit around the place.
Transformers.
Like that's a money bank.
Oh, yeah.
So, talking about moving forward with your collections and stuff, it's always about the grails. What grails? Like you mentioned, you still need most of the last 17.
Yeah.
What's like the number one thing that you want?
What I want,
like right now.
Right now, do you remember the HasLab that had the barge? They had the barge.
Yeah. The skiff.
Inside the skiff, yes. Inside the barge was a carded yak face, which is 000. The number on the back of it with the coin. Yeah. That yak face is that's a beautiful one. I really like that. I didn't get the barge, but if I was going to get the barge, I'd only want that figure out of it.
Right.
And they don't come up very often because when people sell their barge, they want to sell it with the card back. Or people who have got the barge have opened him up already because there's 8,000 of them or 8,800 of them. So there's only that many in the world. So I know he's quite limited, quite special.
This is the modern one you're talking about, or the vintage?
Yeah, modern one. If I was going to have a vintage, I'd want the Power of the Force one that was like not available in America. I think that goes for $13,000 or something. It's stupid money. Yeah, it's a lot of money. Carded it with the coin. Yeah.
Bloody like even just a vintage yak face. Finding that. Yeah. It's sitting around that $900 point complete. It's a bit dangerous.
I want to find a beta. Many years ago, I was sitting in a doctor's surgery, going in for whatever, and I look in their toy box, and I'm like, "There's Star Wars toys in here." And I reached out, and I thought it was a yak face. It was a bloody Chewie. It was a Chewie, an old Chewie, still sitting there. Easiest one to get, of course.
Yeah.
Don't know how I thought it was. I was just like, in my brain, I was like, I wanted it to be what it was, but it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And the Grail I own, The Grail I own is the first 12 stand with the 12 figures on it. The very first one. That there is just that was a gift because I had a few of the characters on there. I didn't have the 12 at the time. I had about 8 of them, and I got gifted that from a very, very lovely bloke who watches my YouTube videos. It's like from America. He sent that over. It's just like that. I was nearly in tears opening that. I was like, oh my God. That's very generous gift. Very generous gift. So now I've filled it all out. The only thing I'm missing is Leia's cape. I might have to buy a whole new Leia.
Is that the white Leia?
Yeah.
Right.
I might never had a cape, and I thought about buying the retro collection. You can just buy the Leia and take that cape off and put it on the old school one. And everyone's like, no. And Star Wars fans are like, you got to have original. So that you try and buy an original cape on its own of Leia is you can't do it. You got to buy a whole new Leia.
Yeah. No one's selling that cape.
No.
I don't mind saying it because I find it weird, but just the different toy communities of different toy lines, a lot of them, Voltron, G.I. Joe, Transformers, they're probably like 90% cool with having repro stuff. But Jesus Christ, like Star Wars.
Yeah, there's some gatekeepers in there.
Wow. I sort of, when I think of Star Wars fans with relation to repro, I think of, the black and white dudes with pitchforks and flaming torches, and repro is Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, you can't have anything sort of repro. Even people thought about the Yoda, the original Yoda used to lose its cane, and that cane is like $100. So people were buying the retro collection version of the Yoda for like, $25. Open it up, get the cane, put it in there, and people are like, it's not repro. It's just a newer version of the same cane.
It's not correct.
Yeah.
I contacted a mate of mine the other day, Derek Westbrook. I don't know if you know Derek. He's a toy seller over in Perth, and he had a post about 6 months ago, and it was just a picture of probably 100 or 150 repro Star Wars pieces.
Oh,
and he was like, effing repro parts, blah blah blah, and that was like, all the Star Wars fans come in, and I private messaged him and I said, look, man, this is nothing to do with me. I'm not very good. I can't do it to that scale. And he's like, it's all good, man. Just stay out of this conversation. And I'm like, but I contacted him the other day and said, is it okay? Is it still repro if they didn't exist?
That's correct. That never existed.
And he's like, he said, no, it's not repro then. It's an actual product. And I'm like, excellent. So
there you go. There are action figures out there that like there's something called the Next 17. There's a company called Next 17, and they can make characters that were never made in the vintage kennel line.
Okay.
And one of them is Efont Mon. Yeah, I have that character too. Yeah, never made in the kennel line, and he brought some out. Very cool stuff. Yeah, never made before, just like your training ball there. So you can't confuse it with anything and call it, It's repro. It's original.
That's right.
It's bespoke. Bespoke is the artisan word, isn't it?
Well,
if you create something,
it's just like it's quite nice because I made those and I've already sold one, and the guy that bought it off me said, "Oh, I want a thermal detonator," and I'm like, I don't remember that. And so I did all the research, and now that's my favorite video right now of just, Boosh layer in front of Jabba. And C-3PO saying wants 50,000 credits. Why would I pay you 50,000? And C-3PO just saying, because he's holding a thermal detonator. And it just makes me laugh so much. It's so good.
At Galaxy's Edge, they were selling the thermal detonator. It was a drink. They put a drink in it or something. It was like you take the lid off and you drink it. Yeah, they put liquid in it.
Wow.
I didn't. Yeah, and people were like, after they drink the drink, they take it home and it was, I got a thermal detonator.
Yeah.
I remember seeing them. I don't know if they're still around, but I do remember seeing some of the people actually that little thermal detonator as a drink, just like a little plastic container. Yeah.
Hmm. But yeah, I made this thing for this guy, painted it all up for him. And then I thought, you know what, I'm just going to make myself one because I really liked how it turned out. And yeah, it's all this nice fun, right? Like it made me feel so good just to research that, watch the video, and then do a bit of craft and come out with something that I thought looked real good. So
excellent.
So what's the future for your channel, mate? Are you're at 20K subscribers. Do you watch those numbers, or do you just crack on and make the content?
I don't watch the numbers as much as other people do, because people who like have YouTube channels, they're like, they're 10,000. I got to do a live stream, 13,000. Yeah. I congrats to them, because they sort of celebrate their milestones. Where I sort of like, I just keep making the videos. Like, I just want the people to watch the videos. The vanity number of 20,000 to me is like, I appreciate it, but it's not be all and end all. For the future of the channel, with toys at the moment, I'm watching a lot of, like, I've subscribed to over 1,000 channels, and I can see the toy reviews and the toy news since the pandemic is like over. When during that we were bursting with stuff. I think because people sitting around at home were thinking, how can I get rich quick? I'm going to buy some Star Wars toys, or I'm going to buy some G.I. Joe toys, and they thought that would make them millionaires. And once the realization of the normies who are watching those videos are like, no, I'm not going to get rich doing this. There's too many people with much bigger, more vast, more diverse collections. I'm going to step out. And so everyone's views dropped down after the world went back to normal, if you could say. So I've noticed that even my views compared to what I used to get, there was a time where I was getting 10,000 views a video.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And that coming back to earth, when you're between 3,000 and 5,000 views a video, now what I get is like, that's sort of, I wish it was way back up there, but I think a lot of the people who came into the community hoping to get rich quick watching our videos, everyone in the community, the views are low. It's like, oh, I'm kind of sad by it, but like my channel, as you see, UsualMike Television, I didn't put like Star Wars figure reviews or anything like that that sort of pigeonholes me into something, so I can expand my channel into whatever. I want. Interpretive dance coming up next season. No, it's just like I tried to make it so my channel is just what I'm interested in. If I've always been a toy collector. I've always been a collector of some sorts. I've got trading cards. I've got bloody stamps. I got things that here's an example: rugby league footy cards from the 1920s.
Right.
It's like, that I've always been a collector, so my channel will always grow and thrive because I can diversify. I can turn in different directions and make something else out of it.
Oh, it's good, mate. I really appreciate talking to other Australian YouTubers. I think I sort of get the impression that to be a YouTuber in America is quite different to being a successful YouTuber in Australia. Yeah,
we don't have a massive community like in the States, obviously because of population. There's thousands of people doing the same thing. Here we're few and far between. But we do get views from Americans because they love our accent. G'day, mate. I feel like they watch us because they're like, oh, there's that Aussie accent. I love that. We love them too for watching, because I guess if you're listening to your own voice, if you're American, you listen to American voices all the time, you might get sick and tired of it, and you're like, reach out and listen to something else. Listen to the way this fellow talks about his stuff. Australians are great reviewers because it's like, get her out of the box, she'll be right. We've got all those colloquialisms that like are very Australian, and they must hear that and they smile. Let's put the gun in his hand, right? He's ready to rock and roll. He's
because that's what I was wondering before, mate. Was because I come across your content through Lawrence from A Punk with Toys.
Oh, Lawrence, good fella. I was on his channel. Good fella.
Yeah. I watched the interview. He's a really nice guy. But I've sort of found it funny that I've come across your stuff through American people and not through the Australian community. Like, that's just something that just happened one day? You just got popular with Americans?
Because, well, yeah, if I look at my analytics, my most viewed audience is the USA. And like Australia's third. There goes USA, the UK, and then Australia.
That's unreal.
That's the way it works out.
Happened. Yeah.
Just happened. Yeah, just happened.
You weren't doing anything to target America in general? No. Just the way YouTube shares my videos out, I guess. Yeah. No, it's interesting. All right. Well, we'll draw it there. I always like to do, up to an hour videos, just keep it nice. But thanks so much for joining me today, mate. It's been an amazing honor to chat with you.
It's gone quick. We've talked about everything.
I know, right?
Covered all bases.
So for anyone watching now, please tune into Frostbites GRJ Repro video on Tuesday night. And we'll have Mike on there with Adam and Aaron. And I honestly think Aaron's just going to freak out that there's someone else joining that likes Leonard the Core. Yeah. He's gonna lose it.
AKA corpse figures. Corpse.
That's it. The corpse.
The corpse.
All right. Well, on behalf of Toys R Oz Facebook group and the wonderful Bevan Davey, thanks very much for joining us today, Mike. And we'll see you on Tuesday night.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.